Manhattan Annulment Attorney, New York Family Law Group, Manhattan Divorce Lawyers, New York City Family Law Attorneys. Annulments are legal procedures that nullify a marriage, declaring it void and as if it never occurred. While marriages may sometimes end through a divorce, an annulment treats the marriage as if it never existed. Just as with getting a divorce, state laws can vary depending on the grounds on which an annulment can be granted. Getting an annulment in New York is no exception. New York law has specific rules that govern when an annulment can be granted, and it is important to get quality legal advice when filing an annulment. Top-rated NYC attorneys Martin Moore and Ethan Stewart explain the definition of annulment in New York. An annulment is a legal decree that declares a marriage null and void, meaning that it never existed. Unlike a divorce, which dissolves a valid marriage, an annulment treats the marriage as if it never took place or is invalid. In the eyes of the law, both parties are returned to their pre-marriage legal status. Annulments can be granted in both civil and religious institutions, but this article will focus on civil annulments. It is essential to note that annulments can be more difficult to obtain than divorces. Courts rarely grant annulments, and the burden of proof lies with the person seeking the annulment. They must provide evidence that the marriage was never legally valid in the first place or was obtained under false pretenses. Steps to file for annulment in Manhattan details. Prepare the required forms. Completion of summons and verified complaint detailing grounds for annulment and necessary marriage information. List of witnesses may also be included. Serve the documents. The respondent must be served with annulment papers according to New York's Service of Process rules. This can be done by a designated adult, a county sheriff, or a process server. File the papers with the court. Submit the completed forms along with a filing fee to the civil branch of the Supreme Court in the county where either spouse resides. Attend any necessary court hearings. If appropriate grounds for annulment are found and all required steps are completed, a final hearing will be scheduled. Additional evidence or testimony may be required by the judge. Obtain the annulment decree. If the annulment is approved, a formal decree of annulment will be issued, officially invalidating the marriage. Grounds for annulment. As with a divorce, couples who wish to file for an annulment in New York must also declare a ground to apply for their annulment. Fraud or misrepresentation. This occurs when one spouse lies or misrepresents critical facts that impact the decision to enter the marriage. Incest. Marriage between close family members is prohibited. Bigamy, polygamy. A person is not allowed to be married to more than one person at a time. If it is discovered that one spouse is already married, the new marriage can be annulled. Mental illness. If either spouse has had an incurable mental illness for 5 years, it may be used as a ground to annul the marriage. Coercion, incapacity. If one party was forced into marriage against their will or was unable to consent due to mental incapacity, the marriage can be annulled. Age restrictions. In New York, persons under the age of 18 who wish to marry need the consent of both parents. If the person is under the age of 16, they need to secure an order of approval from a judge. If one of the parties was underage, below 18 years old, at the time of marriage and did not have proper consent from a parent or guardian, the underaged spouse or their parent, guardian can file for annulment. Sexual incapacity. If one or either spouse cannot consummate the marriage, but did not know of their inability to have sexual relations before the marriage, it may be used as grounds for annulment. When using this ground, it is important to file the annulment within 5 years of the marriage. Annulment versus divorce. While both annulments and divorces end a marriage, they differ in significant ways. A divorce dissolves a legally valid marriage, while an annulment treats the marriage as if it is invalid. Additionally, the grounds for seeking annulments differ from the grounds for divorce. A divorce generally requires proving a fault-based ground or citing irreconcilable differences that led to the breakdown of the marriage. In comparison, an annulment must be based on the invalidity of the marriage from the outset. Divorces typically involve more complex legal processes than annulments, such as the division of assets, child custody, and spousal support. This is because the marriage is considered a valid union that has legal and financial consequences for both parties. However, it is important to note that any children shared by the spouses during their marriage remain legitimate, and a record of the marriage in the annulment will still remain. Concerns regarding the custody of minor children, child support, and visitation can be discussed and agreed upon by the parties, or the court can issue an order. The court can also issue an order regarding the distribution of any marital property to ensure equitable distribution, and may also include an order for spousal support, just as the case in a divorce. Each case is unique, and a couple's circumstances can affect the judgment heavily. Getting the help of an experienced Manhattan family law attorney can help give insight into the annulment process in New York City and assist in providing information about the processes involved. Call New York Family Law Group today to schedule a consultation. New York State annulment requirements. In New York, annulments are granted under limited circumstances compared to divorce. The New York Domestic Relations Law, Article 9, governs the grounds for annulment and related processes. There are two types of annulment. Void marriages. Voidable marriages. How working with an experienced Manhattan annulment attorney can help. An annulment is a legal process that declares a marriage null and void, as if it never happened. There are specific qualifications that must be met in order for a marriage to be annulled, and not all marriages will qualify. An experienced attorney can help provide the legal services couples seeking an annulment may require. These services include legal consultation and advice, assistance in preparing the necessary documents, representation in court, and negotiating with the other party. Legal consultation and advice. Preparing necessary documents. Representation in court. Negotiating with the other party. Get the help of our skilled Manhattan annulment attorneys at New York Family Law Group today. Filing for an annulment in New York can be a complex and emotional process. An experienced annulment attorney can provide valuable assistance in navigating both the legal and emotional aspects of the case. An attorney can provide guidance and advice on the legal grounds for annulment in New York, help you understand your legal rights and options, and assist in preparing and filing the necessary paperwork. They can also represent you in court and negotiate a settlement between the parties. To schedule a consultation with one of our attorneys, contact New York Family Law Group today at 718-293-1542.